You should know your biology. You should know your hormones. And uske accordingly, how do we work?
Why is it harder for women to lose weight than men?
What is happening? सब लोग खाली crash dieting करते हैं, and that gives the signal to the body that it is in stress.
It's been 4 days since the sudden and tragic death of reality TV star Shefali Jariwala. The mystery certainly
And stress से क्या होता है? Work driven or not to be ambitious. I'm not saying that, but you should also be able to give yourself that soft touch of femininity.
Everyone these days also are talking about Ozempic.
Yes.
So kind of a global phenomenon for weight loss.
Yes.
So how effective is that, although it is FDA approved?
Now this conversion in the body happens only 4%. तो अगर आप 1000 mg of flaxseed oil लेते हो तो उसमें से हार्डली 300 या 400 mg absorb होएगा.
Can you recommend a typical biohacking routine for a working professional?
When you are taking the sunlight, so उससे there is an upregulation of CAR, that is.
Great to have you on the show, Dr. Neeha.
Thank you for having me here.
So today more women than ever are trying to be more healthier.
Yes.
They're working out more, trying to stay fit, but still struggling with issues like low energy and weight gain. So maybe they don't understand their bodies better or the underlying factors that are driving these issues. So we would like you to simplify this for us. So my first question is actually, why is it harder for women to lose weight than men?
Okay, so basically it is not about only losing weight. The thing is, women should understand that their biology is very different than from men. Okay, so basically the hormones, when it comes to men, it is only a 24-hour hormone cycle. Okay, but as far as women, it goes in a phase of 28 to 32 days of cycle of hormones. So basically they need to understand that their biology is very different. So the requirement of their energy, the changes in their hormones, it's very different. And to cater to weight gain and weight loss, fat loss, it depends on what they are doing. Like for example, usually what do they do is that they go on excessive exercising, they skip meals, they are not eating enough, whereby your body requires the fuel even to lose fat. Okay, so it is very important that you understand the biology of where you are, understand the biology of a woman, their hormones, and then work accordingly. What is happening? सब लोग खाली crash dieting करते हैं, and that gives the signal to the body that it is in stress. And stress से क्या होता है? Cortisol levels high होते हैं. High cortisol levels से your fat metabolism gets affected. Body tends to store more fat. So instead of actually losing out fat, you are storing more fats. And hence it becomes difficult. And people don't understand it. They just say that कि exercise ज़्यादा करो, कम खाओ. इससे they are going to tend to lose weight. But that's not the case.
It's not that straight.
Yes.
It's much more complex than that.
Yes, and you need to understand the underlying cause of what is happening in the body, which not everyone caters to.
And that's probably one of the reasons that they're feeling low on energy.
Yes,
Crash
definitely.
diet and all that.
Yes. So, with that, what happens is that, crash of their energy levels, their cortisol levels are high. Stress, environmental stress, relationship stress, they have work stress, all of it gets added to it along with their biology, and they are not looking at how we need to cater to it. So it's very important that you look at the biology of where you are, what you're doing, and how is your hormones working, whether is it in sync with what you're doing or not. So especially for women, that becomes very important, even while even to lose weight.
They say that there's a very close connection between sleep, insulin, and cortisol.
Yes, definitely.
What is that?
So what happens is that if you are not sleeping well, like you are stressed out, your cortisol levels becomes high. Even when your sleep is dysregulated, your cortisol levels are high. When your cortisol levels are high, there's an insulin surge in the body. Okay, and with the insulin getting increased, you have insulin resistance. Okay, so what is insulin? It's a fat storage hormone. Okay, along with it being it increases the glucose uptake from the bloodstream, but अगर ज़्यादा होता है तो उससे resistance form होता है in the body, and it leads to what? A fat storage. So this is how it works. So the whole cycle continues. If you are so stressed, if your sleep is dysregulated, your cortisol levels goes high, your insulin increases, and you become insulin resistant. That's how it works.
So in that case, the calorie counting method is overrated?
Not exactly but calories is not everything. Okay, कोई भी कर सकता है. Like if you are taking in less calories than what you are burning, you are going to lose weight. ठीक है. But how it happens, it depends on your hormones. ठीक है. Like for example, if you are, how you're fueling your body is more important. For example, if you are just crash dieting, तो उससे क्या होता है? If you're having insulin resistance is high, ठीक है, in the body, तो उससे क्या होगा? Fat storage increases. अभी if your cortisol levels are high, you are stressed out, ठीक है, you tend to also overeat. तो उससे क्या होता है? There is hormone that is your eating hormone, ghrelin, ठीक है, इससे the brain tells us that we are hungry, ठीक है. Leptin is something, it says that कि पेट भर गया, बस कर जाओ, ठीक है. But the leptin gets dysregulated when you are stressed, when cortisol levels are high. तो वो जो cravings होती है, you tend to eat excess when you are stressed, So all of this is interconnected. So thyroid हो गया. Thyroid depends on, your body's metabolism is dependent on your thyroid. So everything is connected when it comes to hormones. So it's very important that we cater to it all. सिर्फ calories देखोगे तो it just does not work. But it is very important that you look at the root cause of it.
A lot of women actually struggle with gaining weight, and thyroid is one of the biggest reason for that. Is it true?
Actually,
In most cases?
as per whatever experience that I've had till now, 5 to 10% max is thyroid related issues. तो वो कैसा होता है? Thyroid is very high, ठीक है, 1 out of 4 you will get a thyroid patient. लेकिन सिर्फ thyroid as a root cause is only 5 to 10%. जैसे Hashimoto's, it's an autoimmune condition. हाँ, लेकिन there are other factors, जैसे PCOS है, insulin resistance है. So ये delay करके ignore करके, when they ignore, and then thyroid becomes a problem. So initially there have been many things that they have ignored, like PCOS, irregular periods, या फिर their sleep is not okay, they have cravings, they're losing their hairs, etc. But so उससे धीरे होके thyroid becomes a big issue. वरना सिर्फ thyroid as an underlying issue is 5 to 10%.
They say that modern lifestyle has upgraded speed but downgraded health.
Definitely.
This is always on culture, lifestyle culture.
Yes.
Is that the main reason for PCOS?
Definitely, I would say, but I would also not say not to be, work driven or not to be ambitious. I'm not saying that, but you should also be able to give yourself that soft touch of femininity. Okay, you should know your biology, you should know your hormones, and uske accordingly how do we work. If you're constantly on, so what is happening in the work culture? There's no off phase. You're continuously working, and there's a cortisol surge again and again. Once you go back home, you're working, deadlines, घर पे problems, that is a cortisol issue. Then there's a surge of stress, and the stress is so high, your sleep gets disturbed, your eating pattern is disrupted, so you're not concentrating on your health that way. And it becomes very important that you do it even with all the ambitions that you have. You should understand your hormones. अपने hormones समझो, it has a phase. So now what happens is your menstrual cycle, the whole women menstrual cycle, उसके बाद आता है follicular phase. So it's divided in 4 phases, ठीक है. So in those phases क्या होता है? In the follicular phase, the surge of estrogen is high. You feel all good, energetic, and I say that उस time पे you are so good, you give it all. But then after ovulation, the luteal phase comes. In the luteal phase, there's early luteal phase and the late luteal phase. तो अब उसमें क्या होता है कि people tend to start feeling low on energy. तो ठीक है, as I said earlier, 28 day का hormonal cycle हो जाता है, ठीक है. So the energy is different in different phases. The caloric requirement is different on different phases. The way you tackle to it through nutrition is different in each phase. तो it is very important कि आप वो phase समझिए, and it's very easy. If we tend to actually, I have so many clients whom I have taught them कि आप ऐसे समझिए, your exercise regimen can change according to it. तो क्या होता है वर्क कल्चर में, you are constantly giving your best every day, which is not feasible for females.
Which is not aligned also to the hormonal cycle.
Exactly. So that is how it goes.
So you mean to say the food intake should be different in different phases of a menstrual cycle?
It's always better to cater to it as per your phases.
Everyone these days also are talking about Ozempic.
Yes.
So kind of a global phenomenon for weight loss.
Yes.
So how effective is that, although it is FDA approved, and other weight loss injections?
Okay, the very first thing, Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy. Now these are a drug for diabetes. It's not a weight loss drug. Let me get it out straight. ठीक है? It is so basically क्या है वो कि it's a drug for diabetes, yeah.
इसके लिए बनाया गया था इसको.
It is for diabetic people.
Okay.
ठीक है? It is not a weight loss drug. People are taking it as a weight loss drug. It is not FDA approved as a weight loss drug. It is FDA approved for diabetics, not for normal people just to lose weight. Now what happens? जो लोग जाते भी हैं on Mounjaro or Ozempic, people tend to lose their muscle mass more over a period of time whenever they are taking the injections. So you are not losing your fats. You are going to lose weight. But what happens is the muscle mass is more. So once you are off the injections and you start living your normal life, you tend to gain back everything that you have lost. And वो क्या करता है कि it is not even the muscles that you have lost. It's the fat that is going to come back all over again.
It's
So
going to
you've
come
already, you tend to gain all of it. Now वो क्या है actually में, it is a GLP-1 antagonist. ठीक है. Now what happens is कि body को signal करता है to release all the fats, ये वो. So I won't get into the science of it all, but the thing is that वो उससे होता क्या है कि you tend to lose weight, but it comes back as fat.
और ये
So you just
recommend
lose.
कौन लोग करते हैं?
I endocrinologist mostly, and आजकल तो जो लोग wellness centers खोल के बैठे हैं, people who are not actually know the they should not get into it. Actually मैं ये diabetic patients के लिए medications and injections है. It is not for wellness and weight loss drug. I would suggest not to go for it. And I believe कि lifestyle and people are looking for easy fix. There's no easy fix to a lifestyle change. You actually should look into your lifestyle changes more than the easy quick fixes.
That's true. Let's come back to hormones. For the basic awareness of every woman, what are the 3-4 hormones that they should know, and how the hormones are affecting in different phases and parts of the hormonal cycle? The basic awareness के लिए.
So basic awareness के लिए first know what are hormones. ठीक है. Hormones are the chemical messengers that gives messages from the brain to the various parts of the body. ठीक है. For example, insulin. ठीक है. Insulin, what it does, if you are eating food, there is a surge of glucose in the body bloodstream. Brain is going to tell pancreas release insulin for the uptake of the glucose. तो ऐसे messages send होते हैं from the brain to the body. For women, I would suggest that you should know your hormones, like ovarian hormones and the hormones that are secreted by the from the brain to your reproductive system. Okay, so FSH हो गया, that is follicle stimulating hormone, luteal hormone, your estrogen and progesterone. So basically these 4 are what is guiding your whole cycle. So it's very important that you know those. So these will be the 4 hormones that I would really suggest. Know your cortisol levels, ठीक है, and your insulin stabilization. It's very important even for all the hormones to balance out. It's very important that your insulin is also baseline balanced throughout. क्योंकि इंसुलिन बैलेंस नहीं है, if it is imbalanced, you can't balance any other thing. So if may be thyroid, your insulin must be stabilized. So this way it goes.
इसमें से किसी एक को स्ट्रेस हार्मोन बोलते हैं, कौन सा है? कॉर्टिसोल.
Yes.
Because it is connected to stress,
Yes.
the sleep, and then insulin levels.
Yes.
Interesting. So do women also need more protein than they think?
Protein is such a big thing. Definitely.
Because there is a lot of misinformation out there.
Like?
You should have these many grams of protein in the breakfast. You should have mainly protein diets, no carbs. So many recommendations on Instagram.
The recommendations is everywhere. But that's why, that's how you tend to come to what is good for your biology. But yes, in general, if I say Indian population in general lacks protein in their diet. Okay? That is the basic thing that is there in Indians. So yes, I would say कि proteins is required. 0.8 to 1 gram protein per kg body weight is a must. ठीक है. अब वो कैसे distribute कर रहे हो? खाली एक कटोरी दाल या 2 कटोरी दाल से it does not suffice it. You need to take enough of protein, and hence the recommendation कि at least 20 to 25 grams of proteins in each meal. It would be better for the whole biology or for your metabolic health. So that's how it goes. But yes, even for women, it is very important that they concentrate on the amount of protein. May it be men, may it be females or males, protein is equally important. It's a building block of your body. Everything you touch on your body is a protein. So it requires that much of protein. We need it.
So what about iron deficiency? It's kind of a epidemic.
Yes. So that's like, a silent epidemic, to be honest. So people have, taken tiredness as like कि हाँ age हो गई है तो we feel tired. तो ये normal है. Even people who are between 28 and 35, they feel कि ये feeling tired is normal. No, it is not normal. You need to feel active. You need to be, metabolically active. You need to be alert. And tiredness is not okay. Abhi, usually half of the population of India, more than that, is a vegetarian. Having vegetarian diet. Their what do we say? Their diet mostly comprises of carbs, less of proteins. ठीक है. तो इससे क्या होता है कि iron levels in it is a little lesser. ठीक है. Than what we actually require. So iron deficiency, anemia can be because of B12 deficiency, which is again low in the vegetarians, that is seen. Iron deficiency, mostly people who eat non-veg food get their iron proper. But for vegetarian, it becomes a task. क्योंकि heme iron, non-heme iron, it's a different. The absorption levels differ.
क्या होता है दोनों?
Okay, so heme iron and non-heme iron is like कि जो non-veg sources से मिलता है वो, and non-heme iron is जो veg sources से मिलता है, but the absorption levels is much lesser.
Okay.
Absorption in the body. ठीक है. तो उसकी वजह से the iron deficiency is there, but we need to cater to it. So अब वो भी कैसे हमको पता चले? सिर्फ लोग हीमोग्लोबिन करा लेते हैं, but we need the ferritin levels as well in the body. So it's like a blood marker. So वो सब we need to cater to it individually. So iron deficiency is an epidemic, and it's not normal to have a low level of ions usually, which people tend to just take it for granted कि नहीं यार अब तो it's normal, feeling tired is normal. No, it's not normal. You need to see क्यों.
Yeah, afternoon laziness is the same reason for that?
That would be, I would suggest it firstly what you're eating in your lunch. ठीक है. अगर आपका lunch is carb heavy, ठीक है, and balanced नहीं है with proper protein and vegetables, fibers, तो उससे क्या होता है ना, there's a surge of, with high carbohydrate meal there's a surge of insulin in the body. ठीक है. And obviously there are protein amino acids also in your body. तो उससे क्या होता है ना, with the increase in the carbohydrate, the insulin levels increases telling your body कि take up the glucose that has come into the bloodstream. ठीक है. अब उससे क्या होता है ना कि as soon as there is an uptake of glucose, there is one amino acid called as tryptophan, जिसका सर्ज एलिवेट हो जाता है क्योंकि वो प्रेजेंट है इन द ब्लड स्ट्रीम. तो वो थोड़ा वो इट क्रॉसेज योर ब्लड ब्रेन बैरियर, गोज टू द ब्रेन, एंड उससे क्या होता है यू टेंड टू फील स्लीपी. ठीक है. सो देयर कैन बी टू रीजन्स. फर्स्ट, हाउ योर मील इज डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड. तो इससे क्या बोलते हैं, वी टेंड टू से कि प्रॉपर अमाउंट ऑफ फाइबर एंड प्रोटीन खाओ अलॉन्ग विद द कार्ब, तो यू माइट नॉट फील दैट ड्राउजी. सेकेंड थिंग इज vitamin B12 deficiency. So vitamin B12 deficiency can also be linked with this slump in the afternoon.
टाइमिंग ऑफ द फूड कितना इम्पोर्टेंट है?
टाइमिंग ऑफ द फूड इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बट इवनिंग में देखा जाए तो, बट अगर योर शेड्यूल इज लाइक दैट कि यू नो यू डोंट गेट फ्री by 8 o'clock या 9 o'clock, नहीं हो रहा है, if it is not possible, so I'm not going to tell my client कि भाई तुम खाना ही मत खाओ. So you need to work around the lifestyle as well. More than timing, I believe it's the quality of food that you are eating. The portion size and the quality of food that you are eating.
Generally people skip breakfast as well. Is it recommended?
I usually don't. I say that do not skip your breakfast. But yes, your breakfast should be with proper enough of protein and fats. ठीक है. हाँ, अगर आप कार्ब हैवी ब्रेकफास्ट खाओगे तो दैट इज़ नॉट समथिंग वेरी गुड. ईदर हैव अ बैलेंस्ड ब्रेकफास्ट या फिर नीड्स टू हैव इनफ ऑफ प्रोटीन एंड फैट्स, गुड फैट्स.
With coffee?
Coffee after the meals I usually suggest.
That was my question actually next. Before or after breakfast?
No, after the meal, at least 15-20 minutes after the meal, ताकि nutrient absorption में कोई problem ना हो. That's why.
Keto effective?
Depends. It is effective, but not sustainable. And if you're looking for a sustainable change, it is always good to have a lifestyle change than to going for these crashes.
And supplements like omega-3, magnesium?
Absolutely. It's very important. So omega-3, let me come to that. It's a very important topic we must cover. So it's an essential fatty acid. What's an essential nutrient? You are not going to get it in the food. You get it from your supplements. ठीक है. We don't get it in the diet. अभी people do say कि flax seeds है, walnuts है, ये सारे omega-3, chia seeds है, high omega-3 वो हैं, sources हैं. But the absorption level is only 4% in the body. ठीक है. And हमारा requirement is around 1 gram per day. ठीक है. So the EPA, DHA, they made way for your heart health, brain health, joint health. We require omega-3 supplementations. So and it overall, even if you're eating your walnuts or flax seeds, it's not going to give, you're not having kilos of it, right? Taking teaspoons of it. So for better health, omega-3 very important. It is highly anti-inflammatory. ठीक है. So anti-inflammatory effect के लिए omega-3 very important. Magnesium for better sleep, recovery, etc. It's very good. Okay. Also it has, now it depends अब magnesium कौन सा form ले रहे हो. There are 3-4 types of magnesium. ठीक है. It acts in different things, but usually people prefer for reduction in their stress, good sleep, better recovery in the body.
But ये भी होता है कि over the counter लोग ले लेते हैं, कुछ भी मिलता है तो chemist shop में.
So that is very important that you know. अभी over the counter में ना एक और एक चीज़ बहुत important है ना supplements में कि the composition of it. ठीक है. अभी मैंने आपको बोल दिया कि आप B12 लो. अब B12 कौन सा लो? बहुत सारे कोबालमीन मिलते हैं. Yes, there are many cobalamines that is available over the counter. लेकिन methyl cobalamin is a composition which is easily absorbed in the body. तो इधर पे क्या होता है कि it is very important कि कौन से फॉर्म में तुम ले रहे हो. तो फॉर्म ऑफ द सप्लीमेंट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. तो इट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि आप किसी के अंडर गाइडेंस, किसी के गाइडेंस में यू आर टेकिंग ऑल द सप्लीमेंट्स.
जनरली
Not exactly. I feel that maybe even doctor recommendations or someone like a nutrition practitioner, they should know. Like the methylated form of the vitamin B complex, it's much better than the normal B complex vitamins that you get. So it's very important that the form and the composition of the supplement that you are taking. So over the counter मत लो, प्लीज़ टेक अ सजेशन एंड देन गो फॉर द सप्लीमेंट्स.
या क्योंकि आजकल अगर किसी को रिकमेंड किया जाए कि ओमेगा 3 सप्लीमेंट्स लेना चाहिए, एनी सप्लीमेंट्स अमेजोन से भी मंगा सकते हैं तो इट्स वेरी इजी, दैट्स व्हाट पीपल डू, आई डू. सो
ओके, सो अभी नाउ फॉर एग्जांपल फॉर एग्जांपल चलो ठीक है, यू आर टेकिंग योर ओमेगा 3 सप्लीमेंट एंड यू आर ऑर्डरिंग लाइक यू आर अ वेजिटेरियन, तो तुमने फ्लैक्सीड ऑयल सप्लीमेंट मंगाया. नाउ इन फ्लैक्सीड ऑयल सप्लीमेंट it is in the form of ALA. ठीक है, it's a precursor of the absorbable omega 3. ठीक है, it is supposed to pass through a phase, a biological phase pathway. उसके बाद available EPA DHA मिलेगा. ठीक है, now this conversion in the body happens only 4%. तो अगर आप 1000 mg of flaxseed oil लेते हो तो उसमें से hardly 300 या 400 mg absorb होएगा. ठीक है, एंड हमारा रिक्वायरमेंट है अगेन 1 ग्राम, दैट इज़ 1000 mg. सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट अगेन द कॉम्पोजिशन ऑफ इट, कि आप कितना ले रहे हो. तो इट व्हेन सो नाउ व्हेन इट कम्स टू ओमेगा 3, अगर इफ समवन इज आस्किंग प्रैक्टिशनर, तो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट कि ओमेगा 3 में आप EPA और DHA देखो. ठीक है, इट नीड्स टू बी बोथ नीड्स टू बी एटलीस्ट मोर देन 600 mg. सो दैट qualifies as a good omega 3 supplement. So that's how it works.
Okay, so what exactly is biohacking based lifestyle optimization?
Okay, so biohack, it's as it says, biology. Hacking is hacking your biology. That's how I explain my clients. So basically it's a very personalized nutrition approach. ठीक है, a lifestyle approach which integrates your lifestyle, your sleep pattern and everything. It concentrates on your cellular and metabolic health. कैसे you are improving your energy levels, looking at your biomarkers. तो वो सारे improve करने, improving your lifestyle. So it's like a, it's not only nutrition that you're looking at. It's like the whole array of your health. ठीक है, different things that we are taking into account towards biohacking, and hence biohacking through supplementation, through interventions, that is going to help you improve the performance, performance in life altogether, physical as well as mental,
yeah,
that way,
and holistic. So what all are covered under this? For example, can diabetes be regulated through this?
Definitely.
And other any issues, any
like for example diseases. If you're saying diabetes, it can definitely be. So for people who are absolutely disciplined, may they are doing proper interventions, maybe diet, exercise, weight training, properly taking care of their metabolic health. So even their cells is targeted, your cellular your energy, okay, your cellular health, metabolic health overall, if it is targeted, you can definitely reverse diabetes. But let's be honest, ठीक है, इतना भी disciplined nobody is, like at the age of 50, 55, 60 people, clients do come in, उतना put in नहीं करते. But with biohacking nutrition you can definitely manage it very well. So it's like, you can even get down to, like, if they're 8.5 HbA1c, can go down to, even below 6. Can work wonderfully. But the only thing is that you need to be very
super disciplined. But can you recommend a typical biohacking routine for a working professional? Which is very simple.
First thing, like a simple tips that I can give is, like, very first thing that I would say, take sunlight. ठीक है, उठो at least for 10-15 minutes, go out, take sunlight. Now why? What for? Not for vitamin D. I'm not saying it for vitamin D. I'm saying it because it's going to awaken your cortisol. Cortisol surge is high, okay. It's going to fix your circadian rhythm, okay. Now what is the circadian rhythm? It's your sleep and your waking up, the whole rhythm of it, of your body. तो इससे क्या होगा ना, when you are taking the sunlight, so उससे there is an upregulation of CAR, that is cortisol awakening response. ठीक है, तो उससे क्या होता है, you feel fresh. तो जब sunlight आती है, when you are exposed to the sunlight, you feel all focused, and वो cortisol surge होता है. cortisol हमेशा बुरा नहीं होता है. In the morning we need it to come out of bed. You feel fresh, you feel focused to do work. And it down regulates melatonin, that is your sleep hormone. ठीक है, तो इससे क्या होता है कि तुम्हारा सर्कैडियन रिदम फिक्स होता है कि सुबह में तुमको उठना है. You are all energetic and you go off for your work. By the time it is evening, your cortisol levels goes down and your melatonin levels increases. So इससे क्या होता है, तुम्हारा स्लीप भी रेगुलेट होता है. So circadian rhythm is what? Circadian rhythm is this. Rhythm is this. Your sleep cycle.
Like a phone's battery.
हाँ,
सुबह
so
से लेकर
that
शाम
is
तक.
हाँ, so it is very important. Your recovery is equally important. So that would be the first thing. Second thing, a protein-rich breakfast that I would say suggest. ठीक है. Third thing would be please exercise and stay active throughout the day. You know, at least 700 to 10,000, 7,000 to 10,000 steps at least. Be active, be on the foot. You know, कहीं पे जा रहे हो, take the stairs, don't take the lifts. Even if you're working, you know, your company में जा रहे हो, जहाँ पे भी जा रहे हो, take the stairs. Just ditch the lift. So, you know, these are the simple things. Strength train at least thrice a week. So these are very important and very, very most and under appreciated thing. Sleep. Please sleep. It's very important that you do.
बायोहैकिंग को जनरली लोग एसोसिएट करते हैं एजिंग रुक गया एंड देन
हाँ, लॉन्जेविटी. हाँ, सो लॉन्जेविटी तो अपने आप आएगी ना इफ यू आर गोइंग टू कॉन्सेंट्रेट ऑन इट. स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग क्या करेगा? इफ यू आर रेगुलेटिंग योर स्लीप, योर स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग, यू नो, योर मसल्स आर इम्प्रूविंग. एंड व्हाट इज एंटी एजिंग? इट इज, यू नो, व्हाट इज एजिंग? इट इज दैट योर सार्कोपीनिया, दैट्स योर लूजिंग आउट ऑन योर मसल्स. तो वेट ट्रेनिंग से क्या होगा? योर बोन डेंसिटी इम्प्रूव्स, योर यू नो, योर मसल मास इज, you are able to retain your muscle mass. तो एंटी एजिंग आराम से हो जाता है and it becomes longevity.
So what are some daily habits that you personally follow for your own health and wellness?
Okay, so whatever I just suggested, early morning sunlight that I usually take. I have a good protein and fat-rich breakfast, good healthy fats and good protein-rich breakfast. I do go for strength training at least twice, thrice in a week. I make sure, and whenever in between appointments, if I do get time, I make sure that, you know, I walk and or evening walks. I make sure that I get my steps in, and obviously the nutrition on the plate, a balanced meal wherever I am. Hydration very important. So yes, that's also one thing that I concentrate on. How much of it am I drinking water?
And are there some lab tests that you would recommend, like doing those monthly or quarterly, so that people are more aware about their own body hormones?
Yes, definitely. What I usually suggest, like being in the Indian population, it's very important that we know your iron levels, your vitamin D levels, your B12 levels. And other than that, fasting insulin I usually suggest. And if you have a very, you know, stressful job or stressful life, I usually suggest your cortisol levels. And women who are like above 35, I usually tell them, you know, to get their hormonal panels as well quite often. लेकिन अभी आजकल PCOS and all is also so, you know, very common. Like 1 in 3 women, even younger women, they tend to have PCOS. तो उनके लिए भी hormonal panel is very important. So I usually tell them to get these things at least.
How difficult is it to lose weight after 35?
It is difficult because we need to know what is your, you know, what you used to do at the age of 28 is not going to work when you are 36 or 37. So it's very important that, you know, you understand your biology as to what is happening with the hormones, how is it working, and what you need to do to cater to it. And if you're looking for maybe, you know, weight loss, fat loss, so वो कैसे कर सकते हैं? With, you know, you need to align and sync your body, your schedule along with your hormones. So for women, it's very important that they know it, how to do it. And along with the biohacking, along with the lifestyle integration, it only helps towards it, towards their goal to become healthier, and then obviously and ultimately to longevity.
And what would you tell someone who is confused between dieting, biohacking, and all the several recommendations available everywhere?
So I suggest that don't randomly follow the advices that you see. I would suggest that go to practicing a practitioner who has been practicing nutrition, and not just the people who have done the certifications, like actual who have done their either masters or in nutrition, who have studied it very well. They know the inside out of what is happening with you, your hormones, and they'll be able to guide you accordingly. So it's very important that at least when you are above 30, you don't just listen to random advices and apply it on your body. Please understand your body first, understand your body well, and then work accordingly.
That's true. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
You are most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you really simplified this complex topic for us. So thank you so much. Pleasure having you on the show.
Most welcome. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.